Alrighty, Storm Chasers, we are back. Dr. Linda and I. It's been a little bit. How are you doing, Dr. Linda?
I'm doing great. A lot of crazy activities at the West Coast and some disappointments. And I found out somebody was backstabbing me. And one of the shamans I work with literally found like what looked like a knife in my back, and he knows how to remove it spiritually. And I
Okay.
got kind of stunned because I knew I was being backstabbed. And then I would fuss about it for a few days. And then I go to my healer and he found it. And now I'm at peace again because I can sense energy and conversation. I'm a psychic,
You are.
but
You are. And even the healers need healers.
healers need healers. We all need each other. I work with one who's a chiropractor. I work with one who's been a friend of mine forever. That's a true shaman. And when I get stuck, I go to them. Like they come to me, and sometimes I'll do a little whatever I do on them. I've done some healing on you by the phone where I'll just kind of calm you down a little because I have that kind of gift.
Yeah.
But I'm good. Summer's almost here and the weather's changing. Storm has an idea for today's show, if I can introduce it. Storm's been saying, let's do a show on plastic surgery. I said, okay. And Storm's reason for this, folks, is because, well, we know that there's always a few deaths or mishaps in plastic surgery. And some people come out looking stunning and beautiful or so tight in their face that they don't have any movement or they're so Botox. They're like, hi, how are you? I'm just fine, thank you. Or you got the big fish lips. You got the big lips. But I think you have another purpose behind the mask of plastic surgery as to why the topic appeals to you. Why don't you say what that is?
I mean, for me, especially after hearing about Miss Jackie O's death, she actually went in for a mommy makeover. She had 3 kids and was found unresponsive after the surgery. So she didn't die during the surgery, but of course you're still at risk after.
Right, because you've got to go through the recovery phase of the anesthesia. And until that wears off to a point where they can bring you back and you start functioning. Anesthesia, that I've told people forever, is the closest thing to death there is.
Yep. I said it's death's cousin. You're knocking on the door. Yeah.
You are. And I've had like 12 surgeries, but every time I went through a surgery, I came back on a higher level psychically. And a friend of mine just had eye surgery, real intricate surgery. I said, you're going to become more psychic. And in the last 2 weeks, she's just exploded into mediumship beyond what she ever dreamed of. I said, yeah. And when you have the second eye done, it'll be even another elevation. It's scary when it happens, but something opens up. In this woman's situation, did I read properly that the doctor may not have been licensed properly? What was that? Do you know?
From what I saw, he may not have been board certified. So this is what people don't understand.
Yeah,
in certain states, you don't have to be a board certified surgeon to do plastic surgery. So I can be a dermatologist, but I can, in some states, still do plastic surgery. I can be a dentist and still do plastic surgery in certain states. And so you really have to do your research. And so I had also heard that that particular doctor, and I have to say allegedly, that he was paying for the reviews. So the reviews were fake, allegedly.
Oh my, well, yeah, I understand that. But
look at her. Does she look like she needed anything done?
No, she didn't. But you don't know what's going on between her ears. None of us, even though you can have the boobs and the waistline and the hips and all that and still be miserable. The Kardashians, each and every one, have had everything from their face to their knees done. But they look gorgeous. They do. They look like made over people when you look at their original shots of what they were like pre it. But the doctors do a great job. They're not going to go to a doctor that's going to mess them up. We've got that one woman from the 70s, the Catwoman, that she looked nice. She was normal looking as a debutante and as a high society type of let's get out there person. She started with the knife, and if you look at her through the years, she looks like a cat. Can you enlarge the latest picture over on the right here, way to the end? Yeah, she looks, look at her eyes are real slanted. That's not normal. Her face, her lips, everything. The psyche behind it would drive me nuts. If I had to look in the mirror every day and something really went wrong where I didn't recognize myself, I could only
Mm.
imagine the depression, the humiliation, the embarrassment, the reconnecting with my own thoughts or spirit to make me feel normal. It's like I was reading an article about a week and a half ago that heart recipients, when they have a heart implant, um, they're taking on certain personalities or characteristics or hobbies of the person whose heart they inherited. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So if one was poetic and they weren't poetic prior, all of a sudden they're poetic. It's a very interesting article about how the soul's energy is in the organs, which is what I do. What I do, healing, move blocks, obstacles, negativity from the souls, the bones, the organs, whatnot. So here the heart brings the memory to a new human. You're going to a doctor to improve your physical, whatever you don't like, if the nose or the bridge or one eye droops, or you got double chins, or you got the cigarette lines, or who knows what people see that they think the world sees. Because most of the time we don't look at each other going, oh, the bridge on his nose is too wide. One eye is lower than the other. One ear's lower. Oh, she stands funny. We don't criticize the being. We just, hey, what are you doing? You want to go to the market? You want to go to Starbucks? You want to go to a movie? And we just keep going.
True.
Right?
True.
I'm not sitting there like when you were in Los Angeles several months ago and we were out to dinner in wherever we were. I didn't sit there and go, well, he needs a haircut and he should wear a hat and the clothes are wrong and his eyes are funny. You don't think like that. Well, maybe some people do, but that's not how the average person is. I bet if you're a guy or a girl looking for someone to love, then you're a little more judgmental at the physique when you're finding out about someone. But to go change wholeheartedly to become a different total person. Think of Simon Cowell from America's Got Talent. He's been written up in articles because he went through his phase of all the Botox, to the point even his kids said enough, and he had to relax the face because after a while you're so tight and your eyebrows are up to here and your eyes are out that it's not natural.
There we go. There we
Look
go.
at how he looked on the right, on the left.
Jesus, that's horrible. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
no, he was thinner, but he was more gaunt, but it was all the work.
That
Look
looks like
how
a
tight.
totally different
Yeah,
person.
but they tightened him up and he started looking goony. And then people started saying enough, but that's just Botox. That's not even surgery. Now he's more or less back to himself, which is fine. But we all think we can't be fine. And he's, worth millions or billions in the shows and everything. He's fine. We all want to race the clock. We're all going to age. People who are in their
Wow.
20s and 30s now don't understand the aging process, but it happens to everybody. Yeah, look at this before and after.
But see, and I was open on this, and now everybody's just like commenting, don't do it, don't do it. I was even open about the work that I plan to get done, but there is something about, it's like it takes the life out of your face. Does it make sense?
It does. It depends on who you go to, what your goals are. Some people want the puffy lips. Some people want the high cheekbones. Some people want whatever. I don't know what his goal was there, but he's not what that was anymore. He's back to who he was.
Okay, back
A
to normal.
lot of plastic surgery cannot be reversed. Look at Sharon. What's Ozzy's wife's name? What's her last name?
Oh, Sharon Osbourne.
Sharon Osbourne's had 3 or 4 facelifts. The latest in some of the commentaries, but she hates this new face. She also did the Wachovia, so she lost a ton of weight, even though she had diarrhea and was throwing up all the time and being nauseous. But you got to pay the price to look a certain way. I don't know that I want to be nauseous and have the runs on a daily basis, taking a shot so I can be thin. Yes, I'd love to be thin again. And I do my best trying to eat right and maintain a normal body. I could be 50 pounds heavier, but I'd like to be 20 pounds thinner. Who doesn't? But I'm not willing to risk my life. It's not worth it. Sure, let's go get a tummy tuck. You know how painful that thing is, and it takes 2 months to heal, and you can't move because all your muscles have been stretched and tightened.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, once you're on the other side of the healing, the body's beautiful, but you got to pay the price. They're cutting you open. They are slicing out your gut. It hurts. It hurts. But who else? Like Meg Ryan, they showed her not too recently, not too long ago, and you can see the work she's had done. She's still cute, but she doesn't have that same what was it, the 90s. She just doesn't have that same When's the Harry Met Sally look. She's got a different,
Yeah.
more matronly look. Who else? I mean, most people, Michelle Pfeiffer had a great facelift, but when you really look at her, you can see her before and after. And I believe she really looked better before, but I understand everybody needs to nip and tuck as the aging process takes over, especially if you're in the limelight, you want to look your best. But your question was what happens psychologically and spiritually?
Yes, 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 yes. Because well, first off, I have friends of many different spiritual backgrounds, and I
Yes,
will
you
say,
do.
my spiritual. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm considered one of you guys now at this point, but
Yeah,
you
you're
guys are
part of the clan. Okay.
you guys are also interesting because everybody's like,
We all
no,
have a different
mine
hit.
is the
Yeah.
best. No, mine is the best. It's funny. Like if I put you guys in a room with cameras, that would be an interesting show. It would just be like the battle of the witches.
Yeah.
But no, I always wonder. No, I was always told number one, you should consult the spirits before you do go under the knife for anything.
Yep.
Um,
They
what's your
may
take?
not they may not approve or accept, or if you pray, like with me, the way it happened in 2018, I think, yeah, I did. I had my work done Christmas Eve. And a friend of mine drove me to Newport Beach. I researched, I don't know, 15, 20 different doctors from Beverly Hills, Encino, Sherman Oaks, and then Newport to see whose work might fit my needs the most. And the doctor I chose, when I looked at all his before and afters, you could hardly tell the people had work done with the before. You can see it if you saw what you were looking for, but that wasn't so drastic as some doctors where it's like a whole different person, male or female. It's like, what did they do? Well, they had a great facelift, but it might have been $80,000, or it might have been a new nose and the lips and all that. The hard part is looking in the mirror, and the reflection is not who you've known all the years you've been in your body. It's still a shock to see different. It's like if we change our hair color. You're used to seeing brown, all of a sudden you put the orange or the blonde or the purple or the yellow, and you're still in a shock because you think one way and you see another. It's like, well, is that me? Well, you can adjust the personality to become this new you. That's the fun part of getting dressed up or changing hair color.
True.
But I don't know. I would assume most women who have breast implants, especially if they're small chested, the self-worth and self-esteem is better because they feel more feminine. I have a sister that's top heavy, so she's always been too big. I'm kind of in the middle. Then you learn that there's the smaller breasted women don't have as much fleshiness. Some women are more fleshy. We're all built differently, just like guys' private parts aren't all the same. But it's like anatomy. There's no one set rule, and everybody's always complaining about something. Oh, I wish this, I wish that. We're never just saying, "Hey, I'm cool the way I am," because we're brought up in judgment and bullying
Oh,
and whatnot,
yes.
and then
Yeah.
we were brought up in society that's all the media and the hype of what you're supposed to be like and how small your waist is supposed to be, or eat a peanut every 4 days, do something. But
Yes.
it's the society has become for years that it's not okay to just be okay. So psychologically, I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't talk, but I do know of some people that flipped when they had surgery. And I had a guy I worked with for many, many months back in the 90s, and he had a full body makeover. And I said to him, I said, it's not going to make you feel any better
Yeah.
because you still have all these issues about your ex and their work and all the stuff, life. So he had from head to toe his eyebrows, his nose, his mouth, the fat, the chin, the liposuction, the man boobs, the stomach. He was in a hotel for 30 days with round the clock help because the nurses had to keep changing his uh, bandages and everything until this guy healed. And then after a couple of months, he came over And he stood in my kitchen and goes, I just don't feel good. I don't even like what I did. I said, I told you from the beginning, it's not going to fix it. You're still going to go out to dinner. You're going to, whether you go to McDonald's or you go to like the 5-star restaurants, it's still you in that body experiencing light, action cameras, people, places, things, clamoring of dishes, cars on the road. Life goes on. Do you think everybody's staring at you going, my God, look at all that work. He looks amazing. I got to meet him. It doesn't work that way.
They're off living their life. They're not even paying attention.
Nobody pays attention. We always think everybody's looking at us. You walk in, somebody, no. We're so self-absorbed, we think everybody else is self-absorbed on us. They're not. If you really get freaky or nervous or insecure, go to a restaurant thinking everybody's going to drop everything and look at you walking in. If you really look, they're drinking, they're cutting something, they're laughing, they're looking at their phone. They may look up to see who's that and then go on. It's not this fanatical thing that we think. We can have our fears about going out socially. We can have our fears because some people are still wrapped up in COVID and still afraid of catching it. And I know 2 people that do have COVID right now, so it's still there. But going back to surgery, it's for yourself. It's for yourself. Yes, the guy might find it a little more attractive if she had the nip and tuck, or she might find him a little more attractive if the man boobs were down or whatever. The Brazilian butt lift, I never got behind. And when I learned the recovery period, you had to take a chair and an ottoman, separate them, and sleep with your butt hanging between. Like if this is you, you have to sleep with your butt hanging between the ottoman and the chair so you're not touching a surface while you're healed. And that takes 6 weeks.
Yep.
But people will do whatever they need to do to look a certain way. Remember a few weeks ago, we had that girl who spent $600,000 to look like Kim Kardashian.
And then had to reverse it.
Was paying, another $125,000, whatever. I don't have it here, but we did that on my show or another show. And because she got tired of all the attentions, thinking people thought she was Kim. Well, wasn't that the reason she did it in the first place?
That was like, oh, you should try being yourself. Another good example. This lady's from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So that was her on the left, like before and then after.
She looks like a totally different person.
But this is what she did, because she has a church in Salt Lake City, but it's kind of like a cult, and she married her grandfather. It was a whole thing. But it was a whole thing.
I missed that one. Okay.
Technically, he's her step grandfather, but he used to be with her grandma. It's weird. Anyway, so she went away for 2 years, and she ran the church over the phone, on the speakers. And she literally got her skin bleached, nose, eyes, she came back a whole new 2 years later, whole new individual.
And along the way, she developed a new personality. Can you bring up the one down in the corner here where there's orange on the right and come down to the bottom, right below? Keep coming. Yeah, that one. Open that one up. No, next to it. Come down, come to your left.
Okay.
Where there's orange and then the white. Yeah, that. Is that her?
No, well, that's a cast member on the left, but that's her on the right. She looks weird.
Well, because she's had too much work. The lips are like that goony thing, and her eyes aren't moving. The cheeks are too, I guess, maybe with cheek implants. I don't know. I'm not a doctor who knows plastic surgery, but she doesn't look natural. You're not born to look like that. If we go and look at what she looked like prior, like maybe one of these pictures in the middle here, you can see what she used to look like. But it's just too tight. It's like if you go down Rodeo Drive or any place in Beverly Hills where all the people walk around who've had surgery, they may be like a size 2, but all their faces look the same. It's like there's 7 or 8 doctors that do the same kind of work. That's the look. And
but it's like here she had life in her face. And
she did. Yeah, she was normal. She was average. She was human. She was okay. But then she got under the knife and she looks kind of weird.
It's like it took her ethnicity away.
Well, the spirit died inside her. There's so many Playboy bunnies, they all had the surgery. And if you really look at some of the Playboy bunnies, even in Anna Nicole Smith and what she went through, to have her boobs done and then to look more like Marilyn, and you look at her before and after pictures and when she grew up in Texas versus how she ended up before she died of a drug overdose. But the work, some of it was beautiful and some of it was a little too strange. But you look at other people who had plastic surgery and they just don't look pretty. They don't look attractive. They don't look human. They don't. You can tell they had something wrong.
I'm trying to find a good picture of her. Let's see. No, that's her daughter. Nope. Anna Nicole Smith was such an interesting individual.
Well, she wanted attention and she got it.
And it's funny because I was a kid when she was famous and I didn't really get it. But now, like, I get it. She was drugged out of her fucking mind.
Constantly.
Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. Okay.
What? Did I miss that? I was just looking for another picture of somebody.
There we go.
Yeah, she had her moments. She got real heavy for a while, but look at her lips and look at her eyes. You can see that was work. That wasn't natural from when she was younger. That was plastic surgery.
But she was beautiful. She was a quintessential blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
Yeah, from the little town in Texas to go become what she became and whatever happened. It's like they said in the documentary the other day that everybody liked her, but very few loved her. In other words, she was out there like most people in the celebrity world. Everybody knows of you because you're seen. But how many really get to know you?
Not many.
It gets lonely.
Yeah. I mean, even like I am not a celebrity. Let me just start.
Yeah, you are. In your own little world, you are compared to others. Yes, you are.
But even like when I'm out, it's almost like people expect you to perform versus like, be normal. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's weird.
Well, they expect you to be on a pedestal and less human and more godlike. Like you're supposed to throw yourself at them, or you're supposed to have some brilliance to say rather than saying, "Oh, I'm getting a hamburger. Do you mind if I sit down?" I saw a celebrity last week at a hamburger joint here with his kid. I said, "Oh, I've always been a fan of yours." He just went, and he walked away. I mean, Law and Order and Sex and the City, huge.
That's so LA.
Chris Knopf,
that's so LA.
He was with his kid. I saw him at a hamburger joint and I said hi. He's had some negative press over the years for sexual harassment, but I didn't care about that. I just thought, well, I've liked your work, but he didn't want to engage. You leave it alone. It's with a kid. But in LA, yeah, I run into people all the time. Oh, how are you? Fine. It's nice to see you. The star shock thing isn't as big as it was as a child, I think. Also, the more successful I've become, I know what it's like because I've been in the media and on TV. I still got to go home. I'm not at that big level, but I think also as you become more mature, you become more comfortable within yourself to be out there. I think that has to do with it. But a lot of this plastic surgery takes you from looking really beautiful, and sometimes they goof. And I can't figure out for the life of me how a plastic surgeon, knowing they're putting somebody under, they mark with ink the areas to be done with your stomach, your boobs, your back, your arms, your face, whatever. They mark it. How do they screw up? I don't know how they live with themselves, and they have a patient they can't fix, and they have that TV show, to reverse botched with all the botch. I don't know.
They don't care.
What would you have done if you were to have surgery? What do you want to have done? What don't you like?
Oh God, I would do it. Now I was going to say not that I would do a lot, but no, I definitely wanted a rhinoplasty for the longest, and so I researched it. I've been researching it for like 12 years, so like I already know exactly like where I would go, what I would do. I would definitely do the buccal fat because that's like outpatient.
Buccal fat right in here. Yeah,
that's pretty easy. That's in and out. But I had wanted to like kind of like go away for like 6 months and just pop back. Hey, hi, all right.
This is the new you. What'd you have done? You know,
And then I go, nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. It's
But
you
I
can
don't
do
know.
it,
I don't
and
think it's
you might, and there's people that you'd probably be adorable, and you'd have a little tinier nose or more of a white nose if you want to get specific. I don't know what you would do. Probably narrow it in here and up in here. If you were to take out some of the fluff or the Baco in your cheeks, because you're like me, you got chipmunk cheeks, and you see yourself probably like this when the world doesn't see it, but you feel
right.
it, because I understand that. But the average person and most of the women watching your show, Storm Monroe, think you're adorable as is, and they're not gonna. There's those dimples. I mean, yeah, they could screw you up so bad those dimples would go away if you weren't treated properly, right? Think about it. They could do something and screw that up.
Huh.
Be careful. Just
I don't know. I don't know if I care about dimples though. That's the thing.
but you got them.
Uh,
When you smile, they're right here.
yeah, but I don't like. I don't
Care.
know if they disappeared. I wouldn't care. I
Yeah,
don't.
but when you smile, they show. It's cute.
Okay.
Your smile brightens it up. Smile real big a minute. Yeah, they're right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never
But
know.
you've worked on yourself. You're always working on yourself. People who are still so fragmented or angry about the past from 25 years ago, or can't get off addictive substances like alcohol, drugs, sugar, food, sex, whatever their thing is, the next thing can become plastic surgery. There's a lot of people who become addicted to plastic surgery because once you start, you want to fix the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and next thing you know, you're addicted to the surgery, you're addicted to the anesthesia, or you're addicted to the pain pills, and then you're addicted to see what it's going to look like when you're healed, and then you want something else because well, that's out of whack. I got to go get that fixed. I mean, I know my stomach, but I went to a plastic surgeon about 2 years ago. They're doing it with air or something, some air sculpt, whatever it was. And I thought, oh, that'd be great. Let's just fix the stomach. And I went in. He says, you don't have enough. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I was rejected not once but twice for what I want to have done with my stomach. The way I'm built, I'm very firm, but I know that I have visceral fat in my gut at this age, and it just won't go away. But the surgeons will not do anything because there's nothing to remove. So at least I've gone to some people who are honest. They're not just scissor happy, and you got to be careful of that too. If they're not ethical, a lot of the times they'll just cut you up because they're making money. And so you got to find and do the research who is going to give you the supposed alleged results you're looking for.
True.
If you want to have a rhinoplasty, start researching all the doctors from here to New York that are specialists in rhinoplasty and look at the other people's noses and see what you think would fit your face.
Yeah, I already have the doctor in mind. I've been researching for 12 years. Well,
yeah.
how old am I? Wait.
When you're ready, you're ready.
Oh, I'm 30. Actually,
you're 30 now. Yeah, you grew up last month.
Yeah. So no, actually, for the last 18 years. Yeah.
Okay, since you were 12.
Yeah. So I already know what I would do, where I would go.
You and Michael Jackson, but at least this came off. You don't want your one to come off.
He did too much. I would just.
He did way too much.
Just the nostrils. I don't need to reshape my nose because that's a lot. Because you don't know if it's gonna heal. And then they said, once you break it and rebuild it, you can't do that anymore. It's
because the cartilage. It's all cartilage. Our noses are just cartilage. I'm sorry, folks. I know I'm supposed to look up here to see you, but I'm watching down here. It's just the way the camera angle is, and I still haven't figured this thing out like Storm has. But everybody's got something. It's like piercing your ears, or piercing your nose, or piercing your belly button, or piercing your nipples, or piercing's another body thing, and tats are another body thing. I mean, everybody wants to do something to their body. That's fine. But when you're going to sleep at night, how do you feel after the day? Who'd you yell at? Who'd you cuss at? Who backstabbed you?
Yeah.
Who'd you forget to call? What'd you forget to file or send? And you go through the day. It's not about how this is.
That's true.
By the end of the day, thank God you're in bed and you can hit the pillow. whether you smoke a joint or get laid or make love or watch TV or read a book or scroll online or whatever, the day's over. Look in the mirror, it's going to be you. The things, the thoughts, the feelings are still there. You can't change your soul.
That is so true.
You cannot change your soul. You came into this life as the soul that you are, whether you're confused or mixed up, or like the people who are transgender. I understand wanting to feel more masculine in a male body if they were born female. Like Ellen Page is now, what's his name? Elliot. I worked with her when he was her on Flatliners back in 2017. And I read her. And she asked a couple of questions that I thought were kind of interesting. I can't repeat it, but I've been watching now because her book is out on Pageboy, and I want to see it because I know she went through the transition, and now he's very settled, feeling male in his body, knowing he was born female, but had to integrate so he feels who he's supposed to be. I understand that. But don't think just because Ellen was talking to me in 2017 and now as Elliot in 2023, this person hasn't gone through shifts of personality, acceptance, hormones, psychiatry. I mean, a lot of change, plus in his marriage and his work. And you see, I want to read the book. I'm fascinated. And I knew somebody in I knew a guy named Bruce. He was the first person I knew to transition. It must have been 2004, 2005. It was all new to me. I didn't understand it. But I had met him when he was Bruce in 1989. I had met his wife. We were all friends for a while. And one day he owned a pizza place in Hollywood. And he said, I think I'm a girl. Okay. I'm like, okay. And then he started talking about why he felt that. And should he go to Thailand or go to Beverly Hills and have the surgery? Long story short, he became Catherine. One day I called not knowing because some time had gone by. I said, hi, is Bruce there? Because a woman answered the phone and said, hello. And I said, hi, is Bruce there? And all of a sudden, who's this? I said, Linda. He goes, hi, it's me. He dropped his voice and came back. I thought, oh, you did it. It was a little shocking, but he was gorgeous as a male, but he was beautiful as a woman. I mean, the nails and the shoes and the heels and the clothes and and the hair.
I thank God I've never had that issue. I've always felt like a boy. I do not want to be a woman. You guys can have that. I'll pass. But to be honest, like I still go back to say, like, you just have to love yourself. Like you can change whatever, but if you don't love yourself, it's not going to help.
It doesn't. And I had my own little identification crisis as a kid, which I think most of us do. When I was dating in high school, I was more the people pleaser. So if he wanted a certain look or a certain attitude or a certain class, if it was more scientific versus creative, I would do whatever I thought would make him happy. Mm-hmm. And then one day you realize you can't be for them. We try to do it for our parents' approval. We do it for our spousal approval. We do it in our relationships, our friendships. We're always trying to people please, but there comes a point where you got to have the boundary, like you're there, I'm here. Yes, we have things in common, which is why things braid, which is where we connect, but you're still you. And I'm not monitoring you 24 hours a day any more than you're monitoring me, but we have a similar belief in some areas. And I know 95% of you, even though we talk a lot. I don't any more than you really know me, but yet we talk a lot. There's a lot of commonality, but most people, it takes forever to really become that intimate, deep, open vessel. But if it's so ugly and you have all this plastic surgery to look good on the outside, there's sometimes more suffering on the inside.
That is true.
And I think that's what you're trying to tell your audience, that you got to love yourself. If you're 150 pounds overweight and you really want to lose weight, then get some help. Or if you're addicted, get some help. If you need a new job, get off the couch.
Yeah.
But
Burn some candles.
yeah, burning candles, the good luck power and the money and success power. Storm is burned with my weeks of wisdom. They work like a prescription for your soul, and things will start happening. But I mean, yeah, I wish I were. Well, I'm 5'8", so I was always the tallest and the biggest girl in class until I think fourth or fifth grade. Somebody came to school taller than me, and I went home, Mom, somebody's taller than me, because it was an insecurity that the boys back then hadn't shot up. So I hovered over everybody. Now I'm out in the world and I'm just watching people. But growing up, it's a different perspective altogether. You got your parents, you got your friends, you got social pressures. I don't know what school would be like today with the computer age. I have no
Ooh,
clue, because we socialized. We were in groups. We had our cliques. We had the bullies. We had the surfers. We had the greasers. We had all the different types of classes of people. But we weren't like this all day long, walking around with a phone in our face. Yep. Yep. No, we didn't do that. They didn't exist. Today there's this thing between us. If you go to a restaurant, and I've gone to some of the top restaurants in Beverly Hills with friends, and you're paying, $175 for a steak or something, and you watch, you think people are looking at you? No, they're
they're on their
looking at their
phone.
phone
Yes, it's
while they're eating
horrible.
this gorgeous ambiance, right? But everybody's on their phone.
So true. Yes. It's sad though. We're losing the human connection, or like, oh my God, even how like everyone needs all this help to be, oh, I need help with my friends and I can't relate to my lover and I can't relate. You just gotta talk. Like people just talk.
Always
Just
about communication. I
yeah.
got angry at some people because they backstabbed me. I introduced them to somebody, and there was something in it for me that I thought it turned like it took a left turn, and they ended up doing the project where I got bumped. And I'm like, well, that's not really cool. It's not the way you treat people. It could have at least said thank you, or do you mind, or how do you feel? No. So when it comes to communication or the lack thereof, the door shuts. In my world, it doesn't work that way, because there's some devious thing going on. If you can't figure out the guy or the girl you're with, regardless of a same-sex or heterosexual relationship, I don't care what you're doing, it's still about talking it out, talking it through. You're not going to feel like I feel. You're not going to know how I feel till you hear me express it. I may get angry and rageful and then calm down and say, well, I really feel bad because I felt blah, blah. I know guys really listen to women more when we say, oh, Storm, I really feel lonely because you didn't call me tonight, as opposed to say, why the hell didn't you call? Where have you been? Because guys will respond, and girls too. It's how we present ourselves to the other with the demand or the demean or the victim. If we can try to just, I hurt, I'm lonely, I need you, I miss you, I really want to work with you. I don't like the fact that you screwed me. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to get it out. Otherwise, it becomes attack, or you just shut the door. But most people are too afraid of that intimacy until it really happens. And once that beautiful partnership starts and the intimacy comes in and you're blending, it's beautiful and you don't want to leave. If there's healthy relationships, of course there are. It's just that relationships are harder today because of the phone. I
Yeah.
don't personally go for online dating. I can go and fantasize about all the people I see. Half of them are old pictures. You go meet them in person, they don't look like the picture. I didn't want to deal with it. I just live by faith. Like when it's time to meet somebody, they're put in my face, and I
There you
deal
go.
with it. I like it or don't.
And I
Yeah,
tell people, just go and
go with the
just
flow.
you don't need 1,000 podcasts about how to get married. Just go outside. Just go outside.
Yeah, go hug a tree. Go, if you read about hugging a tree, it will explain the energy you get from the universe, from the tree into your own body, and how it heals us. I touch a tree and you can feel the energy. It energizes because it's a
Yes.
living thing. It's not just, 50 million podcasts. I'm meeting the right him or her, and we've all got opinions and all that. Everybody has a podcast today. Everybody's got a camera today. Everybody's got a phone today. There's no uniqueness anymore. We're all promoting something in everybody's face. So the commodities are gone. Or by the time you catch on to what's needed, like for YouTube, they change the rules and the parameters and the algorithms, and you got to change that again. So it's a constant struggle. Now we're dealing with AI. In the
Oh
last 4
God,
months,
yes,
everything's AI. I haven't even
yes.
caught up with that one yet.
Oh yeah. Now it's like you can use this and this to write papers and do this and I'm just like,
Overwhelming.
listen, I'm just trying to like put my shoes on in the morning.
Well, they'll probably have a little robot coming that you just program to say, yeah, put my shoes on, tie it, please.
I hope I don't get that lazy that I need someone
Oh, or we're so dependent. Here comes the robot to brush your teeth. It'll pick up the toothbrush
to
for you,
rush
and it'll just go. Or they're going to implant a chip. So we just walk in and out of the house, push a button, and the alarm system goes off. The car door opens. Who knows what they're
Oh, that's
doing?
Black Mirror. That's an episode of Black Mirror where it was like in the brain, the computer screen was in your eyes, and you could like, and everybody had like a social credit score. It was weird.
Yeah, but it's coming. If you go online, there are social credit scores. If you think back to the Jetsons from the 60s, they were already projecting, online sports events, online workout, online FaceTime, and that was all cartoons, but we're living it now. So what came first? Is it the idea, or are we living in like a past life in this life, like we already lived it before and it came true again? How does all this happen? How did the Jetsons and the Flintstones, which were two of the biggest comical cartoons of the time of me growing up, know so much about our future?
It's a good question.
How did they have FaceTime? How did they have a safe home refrigerator, a safe kitchen? Think about all the monitors they had with the Jetsons. The only thing we don't have yet on an everyday basis is the flying car, but we've got the electric car. We'll get there. Next thing you know, we'll be hovering. I'll be over to your state soon. I'm just going to come in for dinner, okay? I'll beam up and I'll be there. I'll see ya going home.
Absolutely. I know now they're trying to figure out a way to like talk to the dead, like where you can, I don't know. I mean, you kind of do that. But
Well, I do that, yeah, but I don't know how they're trying to do it. But I did it for 22 years as a medium, which will be coming out in my book this year, which I just talked to my editor. We should be done by the end of summer, which would be great. My book will come out and we'll promote that. But yeah, I definitely talked as a medium to dead people from 1996 to 2018. And I quit. I didn't want the paranormal anymore. It got to be a little too dark, a little too heavy, a little too out there. And going back to facelifts or body change, by channeling for so long, my face changed, which is why I went and had the chin done and my eyes done, because the drain, and people don't know this. Oh, is my dog okay? Can you tell me about my grandmother? Sure, I can do all that. I choose not to anymore. Because when that vessel opens, you don't know what you're bringing in, or sometimes it lingers inside my solar plexus, the energy, for a day or two until I can like get it out, or I have to go to one of my healers to extract it. A friend of mine in Chicago was working with me earlier about something, and she brought in this deceased psychic who I knew did a lot of damage to a lot of people, myself included. And you can't break a dead witch's spell. Can't. But when she comes in, it's almost choking and claustrophobic. So my friend got ill about 2 hours ago, and then I had to call my healer guy to help through me to her to break and release it. It's heavy stuff, and it's powerful. And people think, oh, she's just kidding. Oh, it's not that bad. You got to be careful with this stuff. When you're dealing with spirit and you don't really know how to deal with it, or just you think the Ouija board is easy. I got a Ouija board right here, but I know how to clean it. I know how to talk to it. I know when I'm focused on what's coming in. Otherwise, it'll go all over the place, and you don't know if you're getting something protective or dangerous. It's real energy.
Real stuff.
Dead, yeah, no, people are becoming more and more having fun with the other side, breaking through the third dimension. But maybe I was just ahead of my time. I just choose not to go there anymore. I don't go to the seminars of people channeling. I don't even want to be around it.
I get it. What do you think about the actor Damson Idris that said he channeled Satan to get through a role?
I don't know. I read about that. I don't know how true that is. It's like when people say, "Oh, I'm channeling Jesus," or "I channeled John Lennon," or "I channeled Frank Sinatra." I don't know. I'm not going to put my reputation on it. I don't know what Satan supposedly said to the casting people to get him that role with whatever came through. I don't know. If he thinks it's Satan, great. But I don't know. I'm not going to say one way or another because I haven't done the research. I haven't really heard it. But in all the years I channeled, and I think I've said this on the show in the past, in 1998 or 1999, for those that don't know me, I was on radio from 1994 to 2009 as the original radio psychic. And I started on FM long before the internet even started in 96. So I was on the air. I was on this thing called cable radio. I was in about 400 markets. And somebody said, "I want to talk to my cousin, blah, blah, blah." And I started bringing in, and the engineer and my screener were in another booth. And this whole energy of dark, heavy, thumpy, black, I don't know what it was, happened. And we all stared at each other. It was so horrible. We went off the air for 10 minutes. You do not shut down a radio station. But it was so intense. We had to catch our breath. We could feel it. Then it started to lift. I started talking to it. I stared through the window. I said, "I don't know." Finally went on the air. I said, "Mike, Bob, Joe," whatever his name was. I said, "Who am I bringing in?" "Oh, my cousin Louis. He was part of the mob." Well, if ever there was a hell for me to channel Storm or to really find it, I did that night. And I've never, ever been that close to anything like that since. Ever. That's the one time channeling or talking to the other side that I have admitted, if there's a hell, it was that night. I saw it. I felt it. We all did. We all did. It's something I don't ever want to open up again. There's people that love that stuff and the ghost hunting, and I don't want to go there. I just want to enjoy my life. I want to, read books, get laid, take trips, have fun, be funny, help people.
And live life. Yeah.
Well, but to go into the dark, no, that's not for me. Gotta
That's
be
not
careful.
for me either. I'm more of a tree hugger,
Yeah.
walk outside barefooted, wear a crystal kind of a guy. I don't
Well,
want to
because especially being barefoot, I've always been barefoot because you're connecting to the ground energy. Even if you're sitting cross-legged at home watching TV, you're more indigenous. I'm that way, more spiritual. You want to feel the earth. Carole King saying, "I feel the earth move," but you're feeling, you're connecting. You want that. But some people, they don't connect themselves to being on the planet. They're just in a different orbit. That's all I can say. Some are super depressed, some are super overwhelmed, some are super ignorant, some are super smart, some are the eggheads, some of the greatest scientists on the planet, politicians or truck drivers or race car drivers. We all have something going on. We all do. But there's that group that loves the dark, paranormal, the devil. I don't want to go there. If that guy thinks he channeled Satan, God bless him. If he got him the role, okay. I'm not going to say one way or another, but I don't know what he channeled or what came through. But from what I've heard with people in the past, if you get that close, it's usually not a pretty thing. So I don't know. I wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
Today with my friend, and I had to call somebody just to get this choking thing out of her because the spirit came in and strangled her. Oof. Yeah, it's bad. It can be really nasty. It's not fun. We're vulnerable with all the people you talk to, even in chat. We can pick up energy just from the chat and absorb it. Okay, we're not doing chat right now because we're not really live, but we're live. But think about when you're reading and you're having fun and you're chit-chatting and you're being the persona of Storm Monroe. You're working, but you're taking in all this stuff. And sometimes after a show, you're just going to go, and you're going to let go, right? You're tired because of their energy sucking from you, or you being high enough to stay alert and be high to do the job of entertaining, then you come off that adrenaline rush and you're like, oh God, I'm tired. Can't stay up all the time.
It's so
It doesn't
true.
work that way. But the audience doesn't understand that. See, right now you're in a mellow mood. So am I. I'm not all dressed up, and you're not all dressed up, and we're not on one of those shows like, hey, where we're teaching. We're just conversing.
Yes.
You know, we're like as if we're at the pizza place. We're just hanging out. You know, most people can't feel comfortable hanging out. They got to look good or have 5 hours worth of makeup done just to go out. I can't live like that, you know. Some people are so afraid to just be seen as who they are, which is why I think a lot of what we've looked at earlier with all the different people having their work done, because they're trying to present to the world somebody or something they're not, or they're lacking, or they think the world wants. And then one day they go, oops, even Courtney Cox. So I read many years ago and I predicted she'd get friends and all that stuff, but she doesn't want to give me a testimonial because she didn't want people to know she went to psychics. But there've been articles where she's had enough Botox and she stopped. You know, Pamela Anderson had her fake boobs taken out. People went through it. They made their careers as beautiful bombshells, and then as they age, they realize the plastic isn't them.
Yeah.
So women, I don't know so much about the men. We'll just use Simon as a great example. He got back to himself.
Yeah. I get it. Tell the people where they can find you, Dr. Linda.
They can go to lindasalvin.com, and my new station's drlindaradio.com 24 hours a day. You can hear Storm and me up there. But lindasalvin.com, it's all there for readings, healings, candles, and whatever else, health and wellness products, and of course, all the shows. And where can they find you, Mr. Monroe?
They can find me on YouTube. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm somewhere.
Yeah, you're everywhere. So we just did another soul connection, but this is really about what goes on in the inside. The outside helps because we all are attracted to each other. But when you're goony looking, not deformed by birth, that's a whole nother topic.
Whole nother issue, yeah.
When you get a whole nother realm, sometimes it's intimidating to see somebody so perfectly sculptured. It's intimidating. Wow, they're so beautiful. Wow. But you don't know what goes on inside. And then when I see somebody so perfect, I have to think what's really happening here.
True.
And that's where the reality check comes. lindasalvin.com, Storm Monroe on YouTube. We'll be back in probably another week and do another topic. Or if you guys have topics for us, send us an email and say you want us to chit chat about
whatever,
money, health, love. Yeah, we can do something.
It's Storm Show. Ay, it's a Storm Show.